Hi there. So if you're watching this first short video, it means you're in my Animals and Ecology and Contemporary Art course for this very quick Summer 3 session. So thanks so much for taking the course. This is my area of expertise. This is what I research, what I write on, and so I love teaching it, and it's very exciting. Remote is not ideal, but it's what we have, and I hope I've made it in a way that's manageable, that's a little more open-ended, and that'll be user friendly. So that's all we're going to talk about for this first quick video. We're going to just briefly introduce the class and go over the syllabus, so that we know exactly what the 3 weeks are going to be like, because it goes really fast. And I don't want to take too much time going over the syllabus, and I don't want it to impede or cut into the time of our first class next Monday, this coming Monday. So this is just a short video showing you the syllabus and the ins and outs of the class, and me just saying hello, and thank you for taking the class. Some of you I know are familiar names on the roster, so that's always nice to see. So what you're seeing on my screen, I'm actually coming to you from a very beautiful day outside in upstate New York. There are buzzing wasps and bees and birds and that sort of thing. It's very lovely. I'm only doing this for this first one. It's kind of fitting, but for the actual lectures, it'll be in a much more quiet space, though I tested it out. This is just honestly a nice ambient noise. I could probably do the lectures out here if the weather was as beautiful as it is today. I hope it's nice where you are. So what you're seeing on screen is the website to the class. So this is crucial. This is the first thing you want to save in your browser, in a bookmark or whatever it might be. I've given you the link, obviously, in the email that I sent you. That's how you clicked on this video in the first place. But it's my last name, Gerspacher, Gerspacher, the number of the course, 31701, and then .wordpress.com. So I'm not using Blackboard. I'm just using this WordPress site. I find it looks nicer and it's more user-friendly. You might get some ads on your phone or on your computer, but just disregard those. The content is very clear. So this is the top page. This is what you would see, and I run it just like a blog. So I'm moving my cursor down. And so far we only have one post, right? This is just me saying hello, and then this is the syllabus. So on Monday, August 3rd, when we start, the whole week's lectures are going to be uploaded along with the readings, okay? So by the time we get to Monday, it's going to have much more than simply this greetings plus syllabus post. So it's important to make sure you have this website. So the only thing to do right now is to click on the syllabus. So it's right here. The underlined stuff is clickable. So you click on it and it opens into a new window, and you get the syllabus. So it's a PDF. If you like, just go ahead and download it so you keep it on your computer. And this is all we're going to talk about today. So the course is Animals and Ecology and Contemporary Art. You know this. It's online. It runs from Monday through Thursday, 2:30 to 5:05. You'll see the schedule once I show you the schedule of classes that I've done something maybe slightly different. We're not doing a Zoom every day. It's too much, and certainly not a Zoom for 2.5 hours. So I've done a bit of a hybrid class where we have a little bit of Zoom, and then we have asynchronous lectures. And above all, what you'll be producing in this class is writing, okay? So our first class on Monday is all about an introduction to animal studies and to the topic of the course. So I'm not going to go through this blurb of what we're doing in this class. But go ahead and read it if you want, and go ahead and read the objectives too. You know, this is very much an ideas-driven course, and if you're interested in the ideas, especially if you come interested in the ideas, and maybe a discipline that relates to these ideas, because this class is going to be really multidisciplinary, you're really going to enjoy it. You're going to like it a lot. At least that's my hope. So go ahead and read the description of the course. Go ahead and read the objectives. But we're going to be talking much more about those things on Monday when I give you a proper introduction to animal studies and the way it relates to art and all these many different issues that we're going to be talking about. What you really want to focus on now are the requirements, right? Because I've taught summer courses before, but I've never taught this summer 3, which in my mind is a little crazy to do a course in 3 weeks, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's just really fast and furious. So I've done something quite different with the requirements. You may like this, or you may find it daunting. I hope it's more of the former. So what we're going to be doing, you have basically 4 grades. You have 4 different requirements, and they come week to week. So on the first week, you're going to have an essay that you write. That's 20% of your grade. You're going to write an essay that's at least 5 to 7 pages double spaced. Some of you may end up writing a little bit longer. Please don't send in a 20-page essay, something crazy. That I don't want. But definitely something more than just a few pages, right? We want you're going to write a 5 to 7 page double-spaced essay, synthesizing the class lectures and the readings, or in some cases viewings. I have you watch a few things, that's for sure, from the first week. Okay. So don't treat these as summaries. Don't just summarize the course content. Like the readings or the lectures. I mean, I know this stuff, so I don't need a summary. Instead, what you're going to do is you're going to take these ideas, take everything that we deal with during the week, and elaborate on some specific threads that run through the week. So specific ideas that were interesting to you, that relate to specific artists that are interesting to you, that relate to some of the readings that were really interesting to you. So you're going to see, this is going to be more clear once I get to the schedule of classes. So don't worry if it's not totally clear right away. But basically, your first assignment will be an essay that synthesizes, that works with the lectures from the first week, right? And I'll talk about when these things are due and how you do it and all that stuff in a moment. And it's the same thing in week 2 and week 3. Although by week 2, you'll have had the practice of week 1. You'll understand what it means to write a 5 to 7 page double-spaced essay synthesizing the lectures and the readings. So it's going to be worth 30 points. And then week 3, and of course, it's not going to be on the first week classes and readings. This essay will be on the second week of classes and readings. And then the same thing for number 3. By week 3, you're going to really know, hopefully, you'll really have it down, and you'll understand how to write an essay like this, and that'll be, again, 30% of your grade. So synthesizing the ideas, working with, elaborating on, developing your own ideas in relationship to the ideas, the artists, and the readings from week 3. So notice here, this is week 1, 2, and 3. There are no exams. There are no quizzes. I'm not going to be testing you on anything. These are your exams. This is why writing and responding and developing your own ideas in these texts are going to be so important. It's 80% of your grade, right? This is the bulk of your grade. So if you're someone that's worried about your grade, make sure you're putting a lot of effort. If you're interested and you do all the readings and you watch all the lectures and you're really engaged in the ideas, and you write reasonably well, there's no reason why you won't get really good grades on these essays. Okay. The last thing is a final project. So no final exam. So hopefully you'll be happy with this. No exams, no quizzes in this class. The final project will round out the last 20% of your grade, and this is something you're going to be working independently on your own time throughout these next 3 weeks. It's a presentation that you're going to record, either like as a YouTube video, something you upload to YouTube and then you send me the link, which is how I give you my lectures, or you can use Zoom. We all know how to use Zoom now after last semester. You would do Zoom, and there's an option in Zoom where you can record your screen, and then you can basically give a presentation through Zoom and then send me the link, send me the file. that will be due on the last day of class. So this is the really unfortunate part of this summer, because it's so fast. The final exam is scheduled on the 21st, the last day of class, which seems silly. If that changes, or if it is like there's another day of wiggle room, then I'll definitely give you that extra day. Or if the grades are due, like at the end of the following weekend, or by the end of the weekend, we can maybe give you a little bit more time. But as of right now, this final project will be due on the same day as the last essay response. So make sure you don't just do this during the last week. It's a final project you want to start thinking about right away, and you want to start working on it and thinking about what you'll be doing. I'm going to upload on the website. It'll be available on that first day, on Monday, along with all the first lectures. Criteria, like guidelines of how to do this assignment. Essentially, you're going to be writing, you're going to be coming up with a presentation about something within visual culture, be it advertising or a film or a product, or even something you've have seen on the subway. If you remember being on the subway, some sort of a poster or whatever it might be, anywhere that an animal shows up. You'll then you'll analyze it in your presentation. So again, this will make more sense once I give you the guidelines, and I'm also going to give you. I had a student who did a very nice job on this presentation, so I'll give you a link if you want to see an example of what these presentations can be like. This final project should be a little bit more fun and a little more loose. But like less academically rigorous than the first 3 essays, right? Okay, so those are your grades. Those are the requirements for the class. Now, on the syllabus, I also, of course, put academic integrity, always be honest. It'll be hard for you to plagiarize these responses because they're so tailored to the class and your own ideas, but definitely don't plagiarize anything. If you need any accommodations, just let me know, or email the disabilities services. I had a student who was very helpful, told me about on YouTube that there is closed captioning. So if you ever have issues with either the way I speak or the volume of the speech, you can just click the closed captioning, and then you'll have the text, which I'm told does a pretty good job relaying the information. Okay, so last but not least, the schedule and readings. So this is another thing I hope you'll be happy with. All required readings and viewings, everything will be on the website. You don't have to buy anything. All the readings you can just download. I'm going to upload them for you. They're going to be clickable, and then you can start doing your work on very early in the morning on Monday, August 3rd. So week 1. On Monday, August 3rd, we're going to do a session. There's going to be a recorded lecture for you that you watch. I should have said this before. So let me just give you like a topographical view here. This is week 1, this is week 2, and then this is week 3. So notice something about the weeks. Each week is the same, is symmetrical. The first, second, and third day, there is a lecture that I've recorded that you can watch anytime you want. Anytime during the day on Monday if you want, right? If you want to watch it early in the morning or later at night, whatever is best for your schedule, you can watch it when you want. This is the benefits of like running a class asynchronously. We don't all have to watch it at the same time. And also, let's say on August 4th, like you really can't get to the video and the reading. It's not ideal. You want to keep up. You want to make sure you're watching it that day at some point during the day. But it is true that, things can come up. So then maybe on August 5th, you would end up watching both of these and doing both the readings on the same day, right? Which would be okay. So on August 3rd, 4th, 5th, we don't actually see each other. You're going to hear me in these 3 lectures. And you're going to have either videos that are mandatory viewing for that session, and a text that again will be downloadable on the website. So that's how the weeks go. You have 1 day, 2 day, 3rd day, as content. Then here's what I've done, which I hope will be helpful. On the fourth day, when we're supposed to meet, it's a free day. That's a day where you can do your writing. That's a day where you can start consolidating your ideas from those 3 lectures, and you can start writing your essay for week 1, which is, again, it's the most important thing that you want to get in. Another thing I'll be doing on that day, it's not mandatory. If you want to spend the day just off on your own and you've understood more or less everything from the lectures and the readings, and you just want to get cracking, you want to get to finish your essay, then you don't have to join this Zoom session. But I will be on Zoom. I'll send an invitation to everybody that morning. I'll be on Zoom for about an hour or so, from 4 to 5. It'll basically be like an office hour. You can pop in if you have a question, or if you want to ask me anything about the course, or if you want to discuss an idea that you're mulling over. I'm going to be there. I'll probably be reading or writing, waiting for someone to pop on. But that way, you'll be able to see me face to face, and we'll be able to have a discussion about what you're working on and how you're approaching your essay. So I'd say 4 to 5-ish. It's an office hour basically, but I can go a little longer if there are more people. We'll see if there are multiple people on at the same time. Maybe we'll actually get a discussion going. But none of that is mandatory. That's only if you want to discuss something, or if you have a question about one of the readings or one of the viewings. Well, the viewings are pretty self-explanatory, but the readings, right? So that's a totally free day. There's no content on that day. And the other thing I've done, notice, this is the free writing day with this non-mandatory Zoom session where you can pop in and say hello. Notice that's the Thursday, but each week the essay is actually due on the following day, on the Friday. Anytime on Friday. So this way you get extra time to work, right? This extra time to get the writing in. And then every Saturday morning, I'll probably be out here reading what you've come up with, and then sending you feedback and sending you a grade for that first essay, and so on and so forth. So it's the same thing with week 2. It's due on the Friday, and week 3, it's due on the Friday, right? So I hope that's going to be helpful. So very, very briefly, very quickly, what are we going to be looking at in this class? What are you going to be writing about? And what sort of things are you going to be seeing? So this first session, I'm going to introduce you to animal studies. It'll be a general discussion about animal studies and how it relates to all sorts of issues. The second class will be on ethology. So ethology is the scientific study of the behavior of animals, of non-human animals. It's now today called more behavioral ecology, but you also have some people who are called cognitive ethologists, who study actually like the mental states and the thought and emotional behaviors of non-human animals. So in this session, we're gonna look at artists who, in some ways, their works are almost ethological. They're almost like ethologists, right? I should have said, for the first one, the animal studies course, you're going to be reading a very classic essay by John Berger, Why Look at Animals. For artists as ethologists, you're going to be reading these wonderful little entries by a French ethologist philosopher, Viviane Desprez. She's written a book. The whole book is amazing. What would animals say if we asked the right questions? There are actually a few more. This is an older... I haven't updated this yet. This is an older entry. The D for Delinquents and P for Pretenders. Those are 2 like short little chapters in the book. I add a couple more in the more updated syllabus, and you'll be able to. You'll see on the syllabus it says choose. Just two of them, the 2 that you find most interesting. So we'll be talking about that. There's also a video that I want you to watch for this session, which is by Franz de Waal, a famous cognitive pathologist who works with monkeys. It's a really wonderful TED Talk. On August 5th, we're going to talk about animal rights, most directly. So the art of animal rights, artists or artworks that in some way deal with issues pertaining to animal rights or animal ethics. So this is the class that may challenge you the most. this class will, in some ways, open up questions about the ways in which animals are used, and the ways they're confined, and the ways they're understood, either for food or for clothing or whatever it might be. The way in which animals are instrumentalized within human economies and human societies, right? And so this will actually be challenged in this session. And actually this whole class in some ways will allow you to sort of reconceptualize what an animal even is, and that they may actually deserve more consideration than they're getting at the present moment, because actually the material truth of most animals that are alive today are the conditions are horrendous, and by any measure are hard to justify ethically and morally, and certainly environmentally. So these are some of the things that we're going to be dealing with in this class, that may in fact challenge your preconceived your conceptions, and your sort of understanding of how animals should even be used and understood, right? So this one is going to take it head on, the Art of Animal Rights. So here we have a nice reading by Steve Baker, Art and Animal Rights, and then a nice video by Carl Safina, who's also an ethologist, but in this lecture he's much more sort of engaged, almost politically, for animal rights. So that's the first week. Then week 6, then August 6th, you have your writing day and this non-mandatory Zoom session that I described. Week 2, we get to some different questions. So on August 10th, we talk about zoo politics. This is a challenging reading. I'll let you know when readings are challenging. This is we're going to talk about how human societies and architecture and urban centers can shift their paradigms in order to allow non-human animals to coexist in ways that actually they already do, right? So sort of reconfigure our understanding of cities to be more open to other forms of life, other forms of animal life, but also plant life. So that's an interesting session. For August 11th, we talk about the idea of posthumanism and transhumanism. That's a little too complex for me to give you just the cliff note here. So I warn you, this is straight up philosophy. So this is by far the most difficult reading. So this is why in the syllabus I say difficult reading, just go as far as you can go. There's no shame in not finishing the whole reading. There's also a very short video by the author, Carrie Wolf, who's one of the leading theorists on posthumanism. So he explains some things a little more clearly in the video. But for this one, just go as far as you go. If it gets really frustrating, don't worry about it too much. Just read what you can. And also with all of these, if you watch my lecture first before you do the readings, sometimes the lectures and the readings won't directly relate to each other. But in the case of this one on August 11, yeah, they do. Like I know this is a difficult text, and so I try to go in and make it a little bit more manageable, try to explain some things, so that when you do go and read it, it might be a little more comprehensible. So August 11th, by far the most difficult session of the semester. Then we get to August 12th. We talk about bioart, so artists that have used animals, even at like the genetic level, and used life itself as a medium. That's the theme for that class. So we have a reading by Eduardo Kac, who's one of the leading bio artists, and also a video where he talks about his work, which is helpful. Then August 13th is the free writing day and that non-mandatory Zoom session where you can pop in and say hello or just ask me a question or run an idea by me. Then week 3, we get to the biggest topics of the class. So here we start with ecofeminism on August 17th. So this will all be about the ways in which caring about non-human animals intersects and can be interwoven and relate to caring for nature and caring for issues that pertain to human rights at the level of feminism, right? So in ecofeminism, an ecofeminist will look at the concerns of nature, the concerns of animals, and the concerns of women in society as conjoined, as part of the same, as part of or related to, networked within the same set of questions. So that's a fascinating section. We read a very classic text by Carol Adams about ecofeminism, and Val Plumwood, a slightly different type of ecofeminist text called "Pray to a Crocodile," which is very short but a wonderful, wonderful text. On August 18th, the next day, we look at the animals within a post-colonial lens. And there's a really nice reading by Manisha Dekka called "Post-Colonial in the Critical Terms for Animal Studies." This is also a slightly more difficult reading, but very rewarding. It's very good. So post-colonialism, decolonialism, these are terms that are hard to give you in a nutshell. You may already know what they mean, but it'll be clearer once we get to the lecture. And I'll do my best to explain to you how animals relate to the history of colonialism, to the history of post-colonialism, neocolonialism, and decolonialism. And then August 19th, we do the biggest topic, animals in the Anthropocene. So this is the role of animals, and especially large-scale agriculture, the animal-industrial complex, and its role in climate disasters, global warming, pollution, dead zones, species extinction, all these really horrible things that are happening that more and more people are learning about. Thankfully and hopefully the politics will change, that will move to an economy that's more along the lines of a Green New Deal, rather than an economy based in carbon and large-scale animal agriculture. So those are the two things that commit the most greenhouse gases, and are the two largest drivers of global warming. Animal agriculture through CO2, but especially methane, and then above that, fossil fuels through CO2. So for that session, we'll talk all about animals within these very large-scale planetary environmental questions. And for that one, I thought I'm not going to give you a reading because this is getting towards the end, and you'll just watch the lecture, and in your essay you can simply respond or write about the lecture itself. Because we're getting towards the end. Way too fast. So August 20th, another free writing day and another non-mandatory Zoom session. And then the following day, August 21st, your third week response will be due, and your final research project will also be due. Okay, and then we'll be done. It's really fast, really quick. And that's it for this introductory saying hello and going through the syllabus class. If anything does not make sense to you, if you have any questions before we start on Monday, on this class on August 3rd, feel free to shoot me off an email. This is my email address right here. So agerspacher@gradcenter.cuny.edu. And you can email me anytime, and I'll do my best in answering your question. And in fact, if you can't make during the semester, if you can't make these Zoom sessions, if you may have a question after the Zoom session, or you might have a question on August 3rd, you can always email me, and I usually do a good job responding to emails in a timely manner, and I'll do my best to answer your question over email. Okay, everyone. So until this coming Monday, have a great rest of the break before summer 3 starts, and we'll start working. We'll start working then. Be well.